right, let's get it. You ready? I'm ready.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
All right, who's gonna
Are you
say the
introing?
shit? Because I don't remember it.
You still don't remember
Hell no.
it. I feel like you should remember it by now.
All right. I don't study
like you
it.
need to-
I don't study it. I'm better.
I don't either.
You
I
wrote
think
it.
It's got to be the fact that I created it.
You wrote it.
I created it. It's like a rapper writing lyrics.
Right?
It only takes one time, really. Welcome, everybody. This is the No Politics Podcast, the most dope, the most real, the most must-listen wrestling / music / sports / whatever the fuck we want, but mostly wrestling podcast in the entire podcast world. I am one half of the team, your host, Working Genius, here as always with my co-host.
Thinking no moves.
We got a good episode for you today. The date right now is Tuesday, May 23rd. We're just coming off a Smackdown. We're just coming off a Game 4, the Cavs-Celtics series. If you're listening right now, it's probably Wednesday, May 24th. Might be Thursday, May 25th. But we got an interesting episode. It might be a little different than usual. If you've missed us, because we've been gone for about maybe 3 weeks now. We've had a lot going on, whether that's personal issues in our life and things we're taking care of, as well as we've had technical difficulties where we actually recorded our last 2 episodes and we were never able to put them out because of some audio trouble and things like that. So into today's episode. In last episode, we talked about our predictions going into Backlash and Takeover. So, in case you don't believe us in our predictions, we're gonna cut in with some clips as we're reviewing the Backlash and the Takeover and This Week in Wrestling. We're gonna insert some clips from last week's episode that never aired, and just to let you know what we were thinking prior and coming in, and then comparing it with what we're thinking after the fact, So we
talked
got
about
a lot
NXT,
to talk about.
basketball, Backlash predictions, and that for the most part.
Yeah. So
and then I think the Fatal 5-Way we talked about.
Exactly, we got into the Fatal 5-Way as well.
Yeah,
Raw's Fatal 5-Way. So we got a lot. We're gonna try to get all of that into today's episode to make up for being gone for 2 to 3 weeks. So we hope you enjoy. I guess we're gonna get right into it. We miss y'all just as much as y'all missed us, so let's do it.
Definitely.
What you want to kick it off with? To me,
NXT.
Gotta kick it off with NXT Takeover Chicago.
NXT for sure.
It was big time. Kevin Owens was in the crowd. Ono was in the crowd.
They had a lot of talk about NXT going around.
CM Punk was in the crowd.
It was all the buzz.
Just kidding. CM Punk was not in the crowd.
I know, right? Somebody photoshopped that and sent it around.
If you saw a viral picture on social media this week of CM Punk in the NXT Takeover Chicago crowd, it was faked. It was actually a picture of him at a UFC event, and they just photoshopped it. So but despite that, there was a lot of big time.
Great main event, great ladder match.
Yep.
And you could say one of the most classic ladder matches. It's only been a week, but it was up there. It's big time. It's one of those matches that kind of puts you on the map. You know what I mean?
It was important. It was simply put, it was important. And I struggle with whether or not it was even my favorite match of the night, to be quite honest, because I was very high on. It was a brilliant card. Yeah, I was very high on the UK title match. To me, since then, even days later, I've had trouble picking between the UK title match and the ladder tag titles match. So, what were your thoughts? What was your favorite match? How's that?
I think the ladder match was my favorite.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the ladder match was my favorite, but Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne had a masterful match. Freaking the reversals, the back and forth. At one point, they were just hitting each other with some shots, going at it with a brawl. It was dope. It was a really good match. Man, they're awesome. Pete Dunne, I think I told you before, like we had a personal conversation. I was like, he reminds me of like that leader of the pack, the wolf. You know what I mean? That vicious wolf that might just snap at you.
Yep.
He, a lot of people thought he was gonna win the tournament.
Yeah.
I know coming out of
He
the
was who
first
I
couple
liked.
people I saw, I was like, this guy's gonna win. But then Tyler won.
Exactly. I didn't know many people from in the tournament, if at all, if any. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was just watching them and seeing who I liked, and and he stood out to me just because it wasn't just his skills in the ring, but just his personality, his character, just oozes like this is a guy to watch.
And he got his thing, the whole bruiserweight. You know,
that's one of my favorite shits I've
ever
heard.
That's
the
what
bruiserweight,
it is.
Yep. So just
awesome
incredible,
match. Awesome
incredible
match. Another
match.
classic.
Yeah, and
UK
it was
classic.
Yeah, and if you want to get a listen on what our predictions were, we gonna hit y'all with those right about now. Next up, we got the WWE UK title. Tyler Bate, the champion, versus Pete Dunne. Talk to me.
I feel like this has to be one of the main feuds for the UK belt. But I feel like they're the top two guys. Why would you make this the first feud? But then at the same time, it's like they have to do this as the first feud to get the fans interested.
Good point.
And make them want to tune in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely got Tyler Bate. There's no way he's losing his belt. He hasn't even got his own UK show to defend the belt. So his first defense, he ain't losing.
All right, Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne. You know I love Pete Dunne, and I would want him to have this title, but you can't have Tyler Bate drop it so soon.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go Tyler Bate beats Pete Dunne again. But Pete Dunne's time is coming up. I think once Tyler Bates' reign is done, I think the person that's going to take it off of him is Pete Dunne.
Yep.
So, but for now, I got Tyler Bate.
Yeah, I picked Tyler Bate. I figured, they would probably do a rematch again, but I guess this was the rematch. Tyler Bate had a great match, like I said.
Yeah,
Pete Dunne won. Awesome for him.
To me, I remember us going through the whole card, and thinking, like, oh yeah, Tyler Bate. Like, like we figured, this is the first like real big UK title match at NXT Takeover. So, Tyler Bate's gonna retain, and then they'll probably feud at the next one, but Pete Dunne is definitely gonna be the first one to take it off of him. Just not yet. And and then when I was watching the match live, I was texting you. You were not able to watch it live. And I wasn't giving you spoilers. I was just giving you kind of general thoughts. And I was really hyping it up. And I remember saying to you that we kept talking about, oh man, Pete Dunne's going to win it in the rematch. And then I said, but when you think about it, this was the original UK title match. Right. So if anything, this is the rematch. So maybe Pete Dunne does win. And he won. And he ends up winning, and it was just kind of goes incredible.
It was good.
It was
because
big time. The crowd loved it. They were so into it. It was great.
Needless to say, I see UK division being a fixture on NXT.
Yeah.
So if Pete Dunne's the one who's gonna keep it a fixture, I'm all for it. Because Tyler Bates still a formidable opponent. We got guys like Trent Seven, Wolfgang, Andrew Craig. I fuck with those guys. Aleister Black might get up in there. You never know. He's a foreign dude, And maybe, of course, they're gonna find more talent.
Exactly. And is this just a foreign kind of title?
Kinda,
or are they gonna mix in?
Now.
Because that's one thing that I know we talk about with the cruiserweights is that they don't mix them.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like unfortunate because it would be kind of cool to see certain wrestlers mix it up. So I don't know what they're going to do with it. But as of right now, the title is in good hands. We're going to keep it pushing, though. get right into
the ladder match.
that tag team ladder match, which was actually the main event, which I didn't expect. And but it was
we didn't even talk about it being a ladder match.
Yeah, I didn't remember reading it as a ladder match.
I didn't know either.
Card. And whether it was a ladder match, whether it was the main event because it was a ladder match, or whether it was the main event just because these two teams have a lot of history and they just were confident in their ability to steal the show. You know, way more history than Itami and Rude is what I mean. Too.
Of course.
So maybe that's why they decided it would be the main event, but it was an awesome decision.
And Itami and Rude was a freaking good match too.
Yeah, it was solid.
I loved.
To me, it was that finish. It was the finish that really like.
And I liked Rude working the whole one shoulder hurting type thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was kind of physical, and Itami would miss, or Rude would miss the backhand, and then Itami would get him, boom, in the corner. You know what I mean? Like I like the little things like that.
Yeah.
I really liked the match. Even him teasing to go to sleep very early, and Rude going out of the ring.
Yeah, actually, now that we're talking about it, if you want to hear our predictions prior to the Rude match as well as the tag title match, we're going to insert that clip right here. Check out what we were thinking. Next match on the card, NXT Tag Titles, Authors of Pain versus DIY, Ciampa and Gargano. To me, another no-brainer.
Oh,
who do you have?
I'm not... Come on, I got the same guys you got.
All right. Ciampa and Gargano it is. No.
Authors of Pain. They're not taking no L's. They're gonna have a long reign as the tag champs. They're not coming up to the main roster anytime soon. Maybe after next year's WrestleMania, but they're gonna be the champs till then.
I always look at NXT cards and I always say it. The winners are usually super predictable, and it changes nothing as far as the quality that we get with these NXT takeovers and NXT in general. So that's just interesting to me. But I got Authors of Pain just like you. I'm pretty sure we're going to be the same on all of these.
Yeah.
Last up, we got NXT champion Bobby Roode versus Hideo Itami, the originator of the Go to Sleep in Chicago.
Yeah.
You got to feel like WWE kind of did that on purpose.
Right?
Right? Something about it. It's like, yeah,
God,
they would.
I feel bad, but at the same time, if there's anyone who could handle this moment, it's probably Bobby Roode. Because he's going to be the star of the match, but that crowd is going to be chanting CM Punk so loud probably. Like, I hope we're prepared for the ridiculous, stupid CM Punk chants throughout the night that are probably going to come up in random times that does not make any sense. But it's going to be crazy.
I don't know. In a way, I kind of feel like the NXT crowd is just so much better than the regular average
main roster crowd,
WWE crowd. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be more respectful. You know, they love NXT. A lot of times I feel like CM Punk chants get chanted because people are either bored or they just want to fuck with, like, Stephanie McMahon or Triple H. You know what I'm saying? Or Vince McMahon. Yeah. But NXT shows, especially takeovers, they don't leave you much room to be bored. You know what I'm saying? And I think out of respect, I'm hoping, out of respect, you know, there isn't any CM Punk chance. Maybe at the beginning, if Triple H comes out, you know how he likes to talk before NXT Takeover events?
We are NXT!
Yeah, real intensely.
Maybe.
Exactly, I could see it then. And then maybe if Hideo Itami hits the go to sleep.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he does.
That's the thing. I know he put out a tweet saying he's going to hit his finisher, the go to sleep, which he invented, or some shit like that. But maybe that's the whole thing. They think they're going to see the go to sleep, and he doesn't get to hit it at all.
Yeah. But then WWE is the type to let him hit the go to sleep just because they're in Chicago to say, fuck you, CM Punk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if he hits it, Rude would have to roll out the ring or something. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I think we both going with Bobby Roode on this matchup, but let's put another intriguing
stipulation. Oh yes.
Does Hideo Itami hit to go to sleep?
Ah, this is a tough one. What do you have?
I'm gonna say no.
Fuck, I'm gonna say no too.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Yes.
One time. All
There
right.
you
One
have
time.
it.
One time.
Fucking awesome.
I'll say yeah. Fuck it, just to go against you and do
Love
something
it.
different.
I was hoping.
I'll
For
take that one. I'll take that one.
Awesome. I'm not saying yeah because I think you're gonna be wrong. I'm saying yeah because I like the guts of a move like that.
All right.
I respect it. This is one, as hyper competitive as I am. This is one I'll be okay with losing. How's that?
All right.
That's one of the
I'll
biggest
say he
compliments
hits it one
you can
time.
get.
And I love that you said if he does hit it, Bobby Roode has to roll out the ring. I hope like that exactly happens.
Because Bobby Roode is such a fucking like. It's not really a troll thing to do because it's a smart thing to do, but it's kind of a troll thing. Like I love when someone hits a finisher and then like the person who took the finisher just kind of slowly rolls and they're trying to like reach for them before they fall out the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a Bobby Roode thing to do.
Yeah.
So
I think the perfect way to say it is like he'll weasel his way out of it.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So.
I could totally see WWE having that fuck you moment and having Itami hit the go to sleep. Like, what are the chances? Itami returns and then they're like, all right, very next pay per view's in Chicago. Let's do it. Itami in the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably let him hit it. I'm gonna say no though, and that should be interesting. That should be a fun one. I like that we did this. You're a good friend sometimes. No.
I'm more than a friend. I'm family. Get it right.
Copy. Absolutely right. All right, so if you just listened to that, which I hope you did because it was just 2 seconds ago. So when we were going through the card, when we were making our predictions, we talk about how NXT is usually so predictable, but yet it doesn't keep it from being entertaining in terms of their takeover matches. And so, we were flying through the card, picking all the same way because we just thought, oh, these are obvious. And so to make it more of a competition, we decided to insert this stipulation into that Roode Itami match, which was, does he hit the GTS in Chicago? Yeah. And if you heard, we pretty much nailed the situation. I got it wrong, but the situation, we perfectly described the way it ended up playing out.
Yeah, because we talked about, like, if he does hit it, he should definitely, I think you said it, he should definitely roll out the ring.
Roode has to do some Roode shit, and no pun intended, and roll out the ring. And it was beautiful, it was well done. It was obvious, but it was still entertaining. And so...
Even the announcers made it a point to say, like, he rolled out the ring. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But all in all, I thought it was a beautiful match. And much props to Bobby Roode and Itami. They killed it. Yes. Itami is... I love the story they told with the package, how Itami has seen everybody win the belt and go by. And he was like the first one to come over, you know?
Yeah.
And he's dealt with injuries and like this was his one shot, you know? Mm-hmm. So that was dope. I think they're going to continue the feud.
Yeah.
It makes me want to watch NXT more.
Yeah. And props to the crowd. I got to mention that. It was a great crowd all night, and I love that at no point do I remember any CM Punk chants. Which was another thing we talked about. Would there be CM Punk chants? Yeah. And thankfully there weren't any. So that made the night even more special.
NXT crowds stay destroying the main roster crowds.
Oh yeah, it's not even close.
We've been a part of the main roster crowd for a couple times, and they do tend to just chant random ass shit sometimes.
Yeah, we need to go to NXT Takeover event. Brooklyn, we got to be there, bro.
Yeah,
we have to because we go to Brooklyn for the annual kind of return to Barclays before Mania, shortly before Mania. Fuck that. Yep. We gotta go to a Takeover. So that's our goal. That's between me and you. That's our goal. But back to the ladder match, though, because we kind of got into it and then drifted. But holy shit.
That ladder match was life. DIY put on.
And it almost took theirs.
AOP
it almost
put
took
on.
Their life.
Paul Ellering put on.
It was, oh, man.
At this moment, we're gonna have to play that Jeezy and Kanye. I put on. Yo, because they put on for Chicago.
Yeah,
they definitely did.
Man, just the spots, the storytelling, which ended up being huge. We're gonna get into it. So, okay, first of all, the spot where Gargano and Ciampa,
it was hot.
It was hot. Yeah. Let's move towards the ending. Gargano and Ciampa were on the ladder outside of the ring, while I don't know if you've ever seen this before. I don't think I've ever seen the ladders set up in this place, in this area before, where the ladders were set up from the corner of the ring to the
but in different
to the ringside, like stand, like by the entrance, by the entrance
one
ring.
where the ramp is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I've seen it everywhere else, but I don't think I've seen it there.
Right there.
And Gargano and Ciampa were on a ladder that was set up between them, and Akam and Razor were on each side of the ladder, laying on these ladders that were set up from the ring to the ringside. Whatever the hell it's called.
It's a guard.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Guardrail.
Yeah. Okay. So, and they're supposed to, do like a splash onto Akam and Razor.
And just drop down on them.
Yeah, because it's actually set up. It's a really tight space.
Yeah.
Kind of like, if you want to illustrate it, it's when Jeff Hardy came down off the ladder at, was it Mania?
Yeah, that big ass ladder.
To Sheamus or yeah, where he just kind of had to go. He had to drop straight down because he didn't need to jump. There was no like room to cover, so he just had to kind of fall. Well, Gargano and Ciampa took it upon themselves to dive and jump off of the ladder,
and offset each other's balance.
Yeah, and they both overshot Akam and Razor. Not clear, like they still made contact. It was still dope.
Yeah.
I'm not like taking this away, but it made it so much more dangerous.
They were all safe.
Exactly. They actually ended up overshooting just enough that they kind of did a front flip roll through when they hit the ground, as opposed to landing on their head or neck. So wow, it was scary. You said this match was life. It was almost the opposite of that. Thank God.
Let's not forget they introduced that ladder by bringing it down, and then Akam and Razor were taken out on the outside of the ring, and Gargano was inside the ring, and Ciampa had the ladder propped up against the ropes, and he held the rope down, and Gargano came and jumped through the rope and through the middle of the ladder and took out
which is always dope. I've seen that before. I believe Sami Zayn did it before.
Who?
I think Sami Zayn did that before.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think at WrestleMania.
Right? So, yeah, but it's always beautiful. It was dope.
Yeah.
And then after that, even in the ring, there was a moment where the ladder was closed. I believe Akam or Razor was holding the ladder closed in the middle of the ring, and Ciampa started running up the ladder while it was vertical, not even set up. He just Akam holding it together, not even set up, and almost getting to the titles. It was dope. And then another.
I liked when it was time for Authors of Pain to like kind of get physical, and they kind of stopped the spot shit and like took the ladder and was like banging them on the ladder and like just had some really technical, like ruthless physical moves, like boom, just smashing them around. And I was like, okay. And they even was throwing the ladder on him and shit. Like they had a good. I think this was a defining moment for them. Like
and before we get into the finish, the most beautiful storytelling moment of it was when Ciampa was about to take a shot from the Authors of Pain with a ladder,
nasty one,
and Gargano pushes him out of the way and takes the shot to the head.
Nailed. That was a scary one too. Good thing
it looked bad, right?
Yeah, at first, but that was a good spot. Like Gargano, like clapped that like
clap it up
for
for
real.
him.
That was awesome. I wish I was there.
Yeah.
For real.
And it just after that was just a beautiful moment, and it was just it perfectly to me. It like brought together all those moments where Gargano and Ciampa kind of they looked out for each other. It reminded you of, man, these guys would do anything for each other. They love each other, and it was dope. And then we get towards the finish where Gargano and Ciampa are climbing the ladder on both sides, and they're about to grab
the top.
They actually get to the titles and the thing that holds the titles.
Yep.
And then the ladder gets taken out from underneath them by Authors of Pain, and then they're hanging from the thing that the titles are also hanging from. Yep. And the Authors of Pain get underneath them for the power bomb. They come down,
pick them back up,
hit them with the power bomb, pick them back up, it's
Clash
like the collider. I think it's called, and then drop them down again. It was vicious.
And then they have to hold the ladder down so it don't break, because that's how big they are.
Yeah, that's how big they are.
And tip over.
It was So and they get the titles, and the Authors of Pain retain, which it
was great.
We predicted, which I think it was fairly obvious. The crowd was incredibly upset.
Yeah.
They would they were like, boom.
Yo, there was a lot of great DIY chants.
Yeah. There was a Fight Forever chant too, right? Or was that in the UK title match? The Fight Forever. Oh, UK, please! UK. There were some "Please Don't Die" chants in the ladder match. Please don't die. Yeah, when they were gonna do that ladder spot.
And then at the very end, there was "Fuck you, Ciampa."
Yeah, which we didn't even get to. Yeah, but so way to jump ahead. No, but so Gargano and Ciampa, they're getting their applause and they're walking out. They just went through hell, and they get to the top of the ramp, and then Ciampa flips the fuck out. Ciampa goes into psycho killer mode, throws Gargano into the Titantron area. The set, yeah. And then hits him with a knee. Just starts destroying him.
Beating him up, yeah. He hit him with a knee, a tough one, and then they landed on the announcer's desk.
Yeah.
And Ciampa was kind of sitting there.
Yeah. And I thought that was it. I thought it was gonna cut.
Gargano was grabbing at him and it was very compelling. It was
it was
one of those, I can't believe you're doing this. It was a Vegeta versus Goku moment or some shit. And Ciampa's just you know what? Gets up, lifts him up in the white noise that Sheamus does.
Exactly.
And just launches himself off the announcer table. Through some red
boxes type shit.
And they were just fuck you, Ciampa. They were tight. But it was great storytelling, and I look forward to their feud.
Yeah.
And man, I wish the story was happening on the main roster. I can't lie, but it's great for NXT. So
yeah,
I'm not
NXT. Mad. See, I trust it more with NXT though.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it right to me.
Yeah.
And so
because there's time for that,
bro. To me, that's NXT Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Oh man.
Gotta get in there, bro.
That'll be good.
All right, so let's keep it moving. We got 2 more matches on the card. We have Asuka's women's title match against Nikki Cross and Ruby Riott, and then we had Eric Young of Sanity versus Roderick Strong, and that's actually what kicked off the show. If you want to hear our predictions on that, check it out. Eric Young versus Roderick Strong.
I'm big fan of Eric Young and a big fan of Roderick Strong. Damn, I feel like I want to get through this quick, but I have to get into a story about Eric Young because I remember specifically that we're going to have to edit that, me stuttering on that word. But
it's staying in there.
My story about Eric Young when I met him, the same day I met Samoa Joe.
Speak some words.
Huh?
speak some words to the people. Okay.
I was surprised at how fucking strong he was. He was I was like, he was brolic, bro. He's a short dude, but he's freaking big and strong. And I was listening to the Edge and Kristen podcast, and they interviewed him, and they mentioned that like you would think on TV watching him that he's a little guy, and then you meet him in person, and he's so freaking brolic. And I swear I thought the same exact thing when I met him. So I don't know why, but you bringing up his match, this has nothing to do with the story or the match or who's going to win the match. But I remember that, and I remember that exactly. I was thinking that, and Edge and Christian mentioned that on their podcast. So I just want to shout out my story again. Eric Young. I told him, good luck, champ, and he lost the belt that night. That was when he was the TNA World Heavyweight champ. But yeah, I got Eric Young on this one.
Oh, man, he's losing this one. No, but all right, I'm gonna go Eric Young as well because he has sanity in his, in his corner.
Exactly.
It's hard to imagine him losing.
But I am a big fan of Roderick Strong as well.
Oh yeah, I think they're gonna have it. Man, whenever I look at NXT cards, I'm always like, man, this is gonna be a good match.
Of course.
Next up, NXT Women's Title: Asuka versus Nikki Cross versus Ruby Riott for the title.
Asuka. Plain and simple. I'm hearing
Empress of Tomorrow.
I'm hearing they're kind of going with her being a bad person, a bad girl, I would say, I guess.
Bad. Don't say bad girl. You can't just say bad
exactly.
girl.
Like, I wanted to say bad guy, but you know what I mean.
She's a heel.
She's a heel. That's where it's going.
Let's stick to the roots.
That's where it's going. And I also want to say, although I pick...
Wait. Asuka's a heel?
They're turning her heel. I'm reading.
Hasn't she always been heel?
Not to me. I don't think so.
Not to you. She's been heel for mad long, and then they kind of flirted with her being like a face. Like once people started cheering for her, just because everyone fucking loved her because she was awesome. But she's still pretty heel.
Yeah. Okay.
Have they been making her even meaner?
Yeah. Needless to say, though,
she's been meaner lately.
Shout out to Ruby Riott. She kind of just came in and like took a spot in NXT where she's like getting a lot of opportunity and a lot of TV time and a lot of camera time. So shout out to her for capitalizing on that opportunity. And she's pretty dope. So I don't think she's gonna win. I don't see Nikki Cross winning, but I definitely see Asuka. And the next person who I think will carry the torch for the women's division in NXT would be Nikki Cross or Ember Moon, and Ember Moon at this current time is injured, so I would say Asuka's gonna retain and probably have some more time down there in NXT.
Okay, I'm going Asuka. To me, it's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna add some intrigue to this. How about we do this? Who do you think takes the pin in this match?
It's so
a little tiebreaker because everything else is going to be the same.
It's so easy to say Ruby Riott, but I'm gonna go Nikki Cross.
All right, well, I'm gonna go the easy route because, like I said, NXT is predictable, but it's always quality. I'm gonna go Ruby Riott then, and there we have it, the tiebreaker. Okay.
That's gonna be cool.
So if you just heard that, which again, if you have ears, and then yes, you did.
2 seconds ago,
2
motherfucker.
seconds ago. So we both went with Eric Young of Sanity. To me, you have Sanity with you. I don't remember Eric Young.
That one was kind of like an easy one for us.
Yeah, I mean,
so
we thought that
anybody would have picked Eric Young.
Yeah,
but in the back of my mind, I will say, I was thinking, Roddy Strong has been looking strong. They might be wanting to get that push, and Eric Young might be the right guy to get him to that next level. So something made me want to pick Roddy, but then I was like, he does have Sanity, so fuck it. This might be the start of something. I'm going to go Sanity and Eric Young.
Yeah, I just thought it was a no-brainer. I was like, man, it's basically 3-on-1. Eric Young, I don't think has been pinned in singles competition, unless I missed it, which is always possible. But I thought for sure, we didn't even think much of it. But Roderick Strong, even from the start when he came out from like the crowd, attacked Sanity, tried to even the odds, as you put it. And they had a pretty dope match. I enjoyed it, and Roderick
Very
Strong,
well done match.
Roderick Strong, like he had to jump through hoops that were on fire, and like he had to go through everything dealing with the entire group of Sanity to pull this one off, and he did, and it was incredible. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a dope match.
Props.
Yeah, props to Roderick Strong. He did his thing.
I think that was
a cool
another great, like I felt all the matches were dope except the women's match, but the women's match wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say it wasn't dope.
It was just the weakest.
But it wasn't
probably the weakest on the card.
It was the weakest out of all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Segue
into the women's match, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, I was waiting for you to give more of your thoughts on, but I guess you kind of did.
The crowd wasn't in it.
Yeah,
I was kind of busy watching it in my house, but it was all right match.
All right, so to move on to get into this women's match, we had Asuka.
What you thought about
defending against Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross, and
I liked the finish. The finish was dope.
Yeah,
but the crowd just wasn't in it.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so again, when we were making these predictions, we were picking the same way. We both picked Asuka. We were right about that. But it was almost so obvious to us that we decided to add in another stipulation, similar to the Rude Utami stipulation, which was who takes the pin. So if you heard, I picked Ruby Riott, and we had a little back and forth because it almost seemed so easy to pick Ruby Riott.
And ironically, what happened?
Ironically, they both took the pin. Asuka pinned both of them on top of each other.
But Ruby Riott was looking good. She was on fire.
Yeah, no,
that's one thing I could say. She really was like looking real good in that match. Yeah. And I haven't seen much of the women's division at NXT. I did say though NXT Chicago made me actually want to watch more NXT now going forward.
Yeah, it's usually like that.
I was interested. It was dope.
Takeover usually pulls you back in like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a cool match. As far as the finish, I think we've talked about this before. Asuka's finishes are just kind of like weirdly timed for whatever reason. Yeah. They always kind of seem clunky, or they always come at a time where the crowd was just dead in that moment. And so it kind of takes away from it. But I thought it was a dope finish. Ruby Riott is on Nikki Cross for the pin. And Asuka comes off the ropes, and hits her with a vicious knee. And kind of just knocks her out on top of Nikki Cross. And Asuka pins them both. And it was just, to me, like, it was, like, come on, if someone heard you describe that finish that way, they're like, damn. You know what I mean? But the crowd in that moment, it was because the build-up was just
It happened
weird.
fast.
It happened fast. Yeah, I know. So, but still, pretty cool match. Probably the weakest on the card, but still good finish to me.
They also just announced that there's going to be a Mae Young Classic Women's Tournament. We've been hearing rumbles about it, but during the match, I remember you was telling me that they kept emphasizing.
Yeah, at the end of the match, actually.
Who in the world, like at the end of the match, who in the world can beat Asuka? Like, she's the greatest in the world.
Yeah.
And I guess they're really going to go with this, and they're going to have a tournament to find out.
Yep, I remember Phillips just kept saying, who in the world is going to beat Asuka for the championship? And the way he was emphasizing in the world, I was like, so this is a thing. Like, this is going to happen. And so, I mean, that's what it seems like we're headed towards. And
yeah. Final thoughts on NXT.
Final thoughts, if I have any. Remember when I was talking about how Rude's character is so entertaining, and that's why people cheer for heels, because they're actually entertaining, as opposed to cheering for them just because they like to cheer for the bad guy. It's because like guys like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, like as heels, Eddie Guerrero, it's that they're funny. You know what I'm saying? And I don't remember what Rude did that made me laugh, but he's funny. And The Rock, Stone Cold, these are funny guys. Jericho.
He resembles some of those classic
wrestler. And I said
fits the mold as one of those.
Exactly. And I said the best superstars know how to be entertaining as well as threatening. That's why Triple H and Shawn Michaels were as great as they were. The Rock, Stone Cold, list goes on. Jericho, even Owens has that. Edge, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, also entertaining. That's what separates the greats. Because when you think about it, it is sports entertainment. And some people, they can wrestle, but, they might not have that when it comes to the entertainment. Rude to me, he's a throwback kind of. When they say like an old soul or a throwback kind of person that they just, And I mean, he's been around for a while, so it's not like a surprise. He just hasn't been in the WWE. But, yeah, he just has it. He has the entertaining, that charisma part, the connection with the crowd part, where he can manipulate them. And kind of like how I always talk about with The Miz, not that they're on the same level, but I'm just saying, like, when you can manipulate a crowd, like, the crowd loves you. Like, and I always have to say, like people complain, it's because the smarks want to cheer the heels and boo the good guys. Nah, heels are just entertaining as fuck.
Breaking news, I never told this story. Did I tell you I saw Bobby Roode at my old job?
Yeah, you told me.
That night?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? He was sitting there reading his script of the night and shit, but I think he was injured, so I don't know what he was reading. But I think he got involved somehow, without getting physical, not wrestling a match. You know what I mean? But I remember seeing him sitting there, and I was like, man, I should say something to Bobby Roode. I've always been a fan of Bobby Roode since Beer Money. Even before that, Team Canada, when he was with Eric Young and Petey Williams. A lot of people don't know about Petey Williams, but he was nice. Yo, he was on some AJ Styles shit, but that was a dope team, and I've been following Bobby Roode since then. Like, TNA really introduced me to him. But he's grown to be everything that you're saying, He put the work in to be that. And he has that knowledge of wrestling that makes him great now on this stage.
Yeah.
All those years that he put in was for this. Yeah. And I'm happy that he's doing great. He's killing it. He's the NXT champion. And that belt is fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
like, there's only one word to describe the belt right now, and it's glorious.
I knew
that belt is glorious. For real. And that was NXT Chicago.
And that was NXT Chicago, and it, to me, hell of a show.
Hell of a show, definitely.
You could say, you could debate, you could argue that the ladder match was damn near 5 stars, or the Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate was 5 stars. To me, I remember as I was watching it, I was texting you. I was like, match of the year. Twice I said it during it.
Word.
I was like, yo, match of the year. And
those 2 matches are gonna be talked about for a minute. Like,
they should.
That's definitely gonna be end of the year contenders for a couple awards.
Yeah.
Especially NXT awards.
Yeah. And one thing I was thinking after watching the NXT Takeover Chicago was that I feel like sometimes there are some lulls in wrestling, where you're watching and you're just kind of like waiting for the next kind of, all right, well, when's the pay-per-view going to come, because I'm kind of tired of these feuds, or, shit like that, where there's a little lull where you're just kind of waiting for Backlash. Like, it took Backlash, 6 weeks since Mania to come, and we haven't had an NXT Takeover since Mania. And it almost felt like a long wait, and where it was just this long kind of lull. And to me, I just kept thinking afterwards, like, it's amazing how one great week of wrestling can all of a sudden refill the tank and give you so much to talk about again.
Yeah.
And NXT TakeOver Chicago definitely, for me anyway.
And then Backlash was the very next night.
And then, but NXT Chicago almost left me with the feeling of Backlash ain't beating this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was almost.
I understand.
It was almost too good. It was. So.
I liked all of it. Everything has its moments and its reasons.
Yeah. With that being said, I think we could move it on along into Backlash, which I don't even want to take that much time on Backlash because we just took so much time on NXT.
All right, right quick. Backlash. Let's just break it down. We don't got to put our predictions. We could just talk about our predictions.
I already put them too late here.
Shinsei Nakamura.
Check out our predictions, everybody. Nah, but let me just run through them right quick. Okay, so we both picked Nakamura, we both picked Corbin, we both picked the Usos, we both picked the Welcoming Committee, and we both picked Orton. The only ones we picked different were I picked Styles to walk out with the title, you picked Owens, and then I picked Harper to win, and you picked Rowan. Other than that, we pretty much picked the same way. So why don't we just kick it off with Nakamura and Ziggler since it started the night?
Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler. I thought this should steal the match of the night, title, and it should be the match of the night, the best match. I love that they put it first to even open the card. I think it was a solid match. Nothing wrong with the match. It wasn't a bad match at all. Not match of the night, but solid match. I love just. It's so cliche to say it, but Shinsuke Nakamura's strong style. You know what I mean? Yeah. The knee strikes, the kicks, everything that you always heard. The myths, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Nakamura. You know what I mean? The debut. It is big time, So it was a solid match. AJ versus Owens to me definitely was match of the night, but it was a solid night for SmackDown. I'm not gonna even say it was a weak card at all, because also. Not to be scattered everywhere, but Zayn versus Corbin was really good.
I mean, we just ran through all the predictions, so we might as well just jump around and make it.
Yeah.
But Zayn and Corbin surprised me. We were wrong. We were wrong about a few things in this card too. We thought it was pretty straightforward. We got the Nakamura one right. That was obvious.
Solid win. Sure. Nakamura even got hit with the zigzag.
Yeah, and kicked out.
I love how they started off with the wrestling aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Where Ziggler was kind of like going for his ankle to bring him down to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Nakamura kind of went there wrestler. With him. Yeah, it was a great story.
Yeah, and but we got the Usos over the Breezango, which is pretty straightforward. What else was there? There was the welcoming committee versus Charlotte, Naomi, and Becky.
Oh, I said Charlotte would walk out on them probably.
Yeah, well, whatever it was, we both picked the welcoming committee as winners, and we were right. And to me, that's important because I think because they were the more solid team, actual team. I mean, they have a name, if you haven't heard. So that shows how much of a team they are. They have their team name.
Although this is Tuesday night and we have some SmackDown to talk about, and there was kind of some friction throughout that team tonight.
There needs to be because it's got to end, to be honest. We're not going to jump ahead too much. But the welcoming committee got the win, which I thought was important because they're the ones in the women's division that need that elevation.
But what was very important, Carmella.
Okay.
That red suit.
That was
Pure
on
Money Force.
Was that
Pure
that was
money.
On SmackDown tonight?
I mean, she had the red suit in
Did she?
Backlash.
She had
too.
the 4s on too.
I don't know about the 4s.
We're talking about Jordan 4s. We're talking about her sneakers. Everybody, if you're not a sneakerhead or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this man is kind of obsessed. We're gonna keep it moving though. He's making hearts at the screen. I'm gonna keep it moving. I gotta keep it moving. So what else we had? We had Owens and Styles for the U.S. of A title.
Yep.
And
they stole the show.
Go for it.
Owens worked that knee. AJ went for the phenomenal forearm, fell off
the rope, and I didn't know.
Come on, there was some great moments.
That was a dope moment because it was beautiful storytelling. But I also was like, man, did he slip actually and then sold it? But
the man who was at NXT Chicago knew he had to go all out.
Owens was there. Yeah, he knew. I'm sure Owens is the type to be at NXT Takeover Chicago. Be like, man,
come on,
these guys killed. All right.
That's why him and Chris Jericho had that bond.
Yeah, I think they're like students, and then they go out there. They have that student type mentality, and then they go out there and they're masters of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they never stop taking them notes. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, and that's beautiful. Like you should never stop being a student of your craft.
All the great Canadians. Come on.
Yeah. So, and Zayn was also there, speaking of Canada. So, okay, and then get into Zayn and Corbin. How Zayn actually beat...
let's talk about the finish on Owens.
Let's talk about that, and let's also...
AJ, because...
Also, this was a match we picked different, by the way. Throw that in there.
We did?
Yeah, you could gloat if you want. We were talking about who was going to walk out of with the title. That was the pick. It wasn't who's going to win, even though they ended up both being the same.
I picked Owens. You picked AJ.
Yeah, because
you picked AJ to walk out.
Yeah, because remember the conversation was that if we thought they were going to have a rematch at Money in the Bank, the only reason for the rematch would technically be a rematch clause. Like, what would be the point
of they wouldn't be in the ladder match for the briefcase?
Yes, right? which to me, I thought like there was a chance, and then I wasn't sure.
I thought it would just be big time if they all were, but I didn't know if
they were going to pull the trigger, because why would they take out the U.S. title from
but at the end of the day, SmackDown tonight, Kevin Owens made a point in why he should be there anyway.
Yes, exactly.
And this match is going to be big time.
And it was interesting that
none of us saw, you know, did any of us predict Nakamura to be in that match?
Here's what I always think. I don't think we made predictions on who was going to be in the Money in the Bank match. But if I had to choose, and I'm going to try to be as honest as possible without being biased based on the results of the night, if we didn't think Styles and Owens was going to be in it because we thought they'd be feuding over the title, think about it. If we're trying to pick 6 guys, it's Corbin and Zayn, right? Yeah. Maybe Rusev because he wanted. If you're just going to think of name, maybe Rusev because he wanted. Then you got to throw in Dolph with the ladder. And then because he's feuding with Nakamura, I would think that would be the moment to kind of elevate him. But I would also not be sure if they wanted to elevate him so quickly and put him around.
I don't remember when we had this conversation, whether it was in a previous episode or not, but we do have these conversations a lot. I think when we did talk about Money in the Bank, you said Rusev should get in the actual contract match. I said he might get a title shot right away.
Yeah.
And now it makes even more the sense if Jinder Mahal is our champ.
Exactly. Which none of us really took seriously.
Jinder Mahal would win.
But I do want to mention that I remember, I was on SEScoops.com, and I saw that, shortly, a couple hours before, and I wasn't trying to see it because I avoid them now. I read something that said, Backlash odds, Jinder Mahal. It switched coast to
top
Backlash
of the
time.
morning.
It switched to Jinder Mahal being the favorite, and we know about those odds.
Swinging.
We know about those odds when it comes to wrestling because someone's making money off of them. Someone in those wrestling buildings is making money in Vegas. But those odds shifted, and I saw that and earlier in the day, and I was like, man, that would be crazy. But it's just to me, it's why? I didn't understand it. I didn't quite understand. Let's talk about the Owen Styles finish. God, we keep getting away from it. Let's do that, and then we'll get into that main event.
AJ's leg fell through the hole in the announcer's table. Got stuck. That was gonna be my point. And then it was a count out. Beautiful finish, masterful finish. They made sure none of them looked weak, as in the sense of taking pins and getting taken out by a specific move.
Which to me was the hardest thing to predict. Who's going to take a pin? It was so difficult for me to predict. This one was tough for me. And so I guess they did it well in a way.
Yeah.
There was, okay.
And that is all. That is all, folks.
That is all for that.
Because this feud doesn't continue
straight. It won't continue one-on-one anyway.
One-on-one.
But that the animosity will stay, which is good because I never like if feuds end and then the animosity has disappeared and, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm glad the animosity is still going to be alive.
We also had Zayn and Corbin, which we both thought Corbin was the one who was going to get the push. And we predicted them to be in the Money in the Bank match, with Corbin having some momentum going for him.
Yeah, because, okay.
And that's not the way it's happening. Zayn gets the win. It was a freaking hard-fought win. I think it was a well-deserved win because Zayn hasn't got a win in a minute. And it doesn't make Corbin look bad at all. And it's proven to not make him look bad even by what they did tonight on SmackDown. I don't know if you want to get into that.
Not yet.
But we can stay on Backlash.
Here's an interesting conversation we had, is that Zayn is the type that can take pins and still look good. And because of that, he was going to lose. Yep. And yet, in an ironic twist, Corbin is actually the one that has been looking really good and keeps taking pins. Think about it. He's been main eventing SmackDowns in weeks past, where he looks really good. We always talk about it. They find a way to make him look really strong, and then he takes the pin. And so here, I thought, all right, well, they're going to give him this win at a pay-per-view. Corbin's losing a lot. Like, he doesn't look bad, but when you think about it, when you actually, run through it.
When you put it that way.
He's been losing a lot. So
that way.
Yeah, so that was an interesting little twist. I didn't see it coming. But those two are both in the Money in the Bank match. Now let's get into this main event, Mahal and Orton. And
I wasn't mad at the Mahal Orton match. Orton, of course, looked good. Jinder Mahal, of course, had the Singh brothers by his side.
Yes.
They didn't have that much time. I think it was like maybe at most a 20-minute match. Maybe a little less than that.
Definitely
18 or 17 minutes.
Huh? I'm thinking it definitely had to have been less.
Yeah, it was probably like 15 minutes. But it was a all right match. I mean, I thought, damn, I don't know. The odds thing kind of fucked with me, honestly.
Why?
Because I knew that I had picked Randy Orton to win without a doubt.
Yeah, I just don't get. Here's my issue. If I had any issue, which I didn't really have an issue, because I guess just none of us were invested in this because we didn't think Orton was going to lose. We thought this was going to be that filler title defense. We were planning that Mahal and Zayn would be the next feud in Money in the Bank. Like we were saying shit like that. Like, okay, who's Mahal gonna face at Money in the Bank? Who's he gonna go up against? And I just didn't understand why take the title off of Orton. Why put it on him? Why not? Just so many questions. Because that title history has now almost diminished, I feel like. Slowly. If you think about it, Styles lost it to Cena at Rumble, so that Cena could lose it in the Chamber at the next pay-per-view. And then Orton beats Bray, who had all the momentum at Mania, and then he loses it to Jinder. Like, what are you saying? Like, I don't... Like, it's been... When you put it that way, when I put it all together in my head like that, it's like, holy shit, that's why I'm just so lukewarm about what's happening with the title right now. But I'm not mad at Jinder. He is a threat with the Singh brothers, the Bollywood boys, by his side. And, he's got a body only a Vince McMahon could love. So I see why they put the strap on him, and with them, with them going out to India and all of that, I see it. Strap the rocket to him. Jinder McMahon. Strap the rocket to him.
Vince's illegitimate Indian son had his coronation tonight. He's officially a McMahon.
Yeah, what did you think about? So wait, let's finish up on the opening segment, which was a cool opening segment. So Shane McMahon brings out the 5 participants for the Money in the Bank. So Styles comes out. Then Corbin comes out. Then Zayn comes out right behind him. And they're all short entrances because, they're just bringing them all out. In that moment, I said to you, Corbin should have just turned right around when Zayn came out right behind him on the ring and just took him the fuck out. You know what I mean? Especially because he just beat him. Mm-hmm. And that's what you expect from Corbin, a mean streak like that. But, so then after Zayn comes out Ziggler. Yep. And then right after Ziggler, Kevin Owens, the face of the United States of America.
And then Shane goes, hold up. Kevin, you're not the 5th guy.
Yeah.
Here is the 5th guy. And then Nakamura's music hits. Dun,
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. You already know.
Yeah. Vocals trash. So Nakamura comes out, and Owens has an incredible. He's arguing that he should be in this match because of the people who were in the match. Zayn won his match at Backlash. and so did Nakamura, but Owens, who beat Styles at Backlash, how is Styles in the match? He lost, and yet I'm not. And right then and there, he's the sixth guy.
Yep.
So, 6-man, Money in the Bank, which makes sense to me.
And Ziggler had a point too. He was like, he was the only one that actually won that match before in the past.
In the past, yeah.
So
he's the only one that's been
and actually cashed in and won.
He's the only one that's been in that match. Owens hasn't been in the Money in the Bank match. No, he has been. One, right? Owens has been in the Money in the Bank. Maybe
I have to look it up.
I don't know. I'm not sure. We're just saying stuff now. we're just confused now. No, but yeah. So Ziggler made an incredible point. He's the only one that has one, as you just said, in that match, and cashed in. So just tempers.
Interesting. I love it. I look forward to the Money in the Bank match. The build to Money in the Bank is lit.
Those are the 6 I would want in the fucking match. You know what I mean? Think about it, bro. And then Shane McMahon announces for later in the night a rematch between Corbin and Zayn, and as well as a tag team main event.
Yep.
We got a tag team match player.
Holla,
we got Styles and Nakamura versus Owens and Ziggler. And I told you in this moment, I got goosebumps thinking.
Yeah.
Just thinking about not only Styles and Nakamura as a team, but Styles, Nakamura, Owens, and Ziggler in the same ring kind of just blew my fucking mind.
Yep.
Nakamura, amazing. Styles, Owens?
Man,
Ziggler,
even seeing that match and how great AJ and Nakamura were together. It was dope. Even like you said, Owens and Ziggler too. How about at one point during the beginning of the show, AJ sized up Nakamura. Remember? Yeah. And the way they were looking at each other, and Nakamura kind of laughed and smiled at him like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it was dope. It was dope, man.
Yeah.
SmackDown is killing.
But let's keep it moving in the night. Try to keep it in order, not go too crazy. But what did we have next? Did we have the welcoming committee? No, we had Zayn and Corbin, I believe.
Yeah.
And Zayn gets a quick ass roll up on Corbin, and then Corbin flips the fuck out. Goes, is throwing Zayn everywhere through the crowd, just destroying him. And you see, I keep telling you, Corbin's taking pins, and
he's not looking bad.
But he's not looking bad.
Yeah.
If anything, every time Corbin takes a pin, Zayn comes out looking worse.
Exactly.
Not in terms of character, but in terms of destruction.
Or anybody who comes at him.
Yeah, so following that
up... Not too many people want to get on his bad side.
Exactly, because we see what happens to him.
Yeah.
So now, to follow that up, we had the welcoming committee in the little tag team action. It wasn't a 6-woman, I should say. It wasn't a 6-woman tag. It was actually
Charlotte and Becky
against Carmella and Natty, which I don't really know why this is still going on. I'm kind of over it.
Yeah,
get the focus back on. Get the focus back on Charlotte and Naomi. I don't want to see them now. They looked even more buddy tonight.
Yeah,
which to me it was like, yo, your match is over now. That whole shit is over. That's dead now. Charlotte needs to get back on her shit. You know, I don't want to see her smiling with Becky in them too much. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's get focused. But Charlotte and Becky come out with the win, and not too much to really talk about. We're gonna keep it moving.
Yeah.
And following that, I believe
Carmella.
We had. Okay, relax. Throwing hearts at the screen again.
Red.
All right. So following that up, if I'm not mistaken, we had a Fashion Files.
Fashion Files.
The
which
final
was a good
file.
Fashion File.
The final file ? Question mark.
The final file ? Question mark.
So Shane McMahon comes into his office, and that's where they're set up. That's where their office, the Fashion Police's office, Brazango's office, is set up. They have a board set up,
a picture of Boss Man.
Yeah, they have all their shit set up in that office. The Boss Man picture was an incredible little thing.
Detail. It was beautiful.
Because he's in his police uniform.
His original
It was
one.
fucking great. Yeah, and And they come in, and Shane is like, "What have you guys done to my office?" And they're like, and they're in their little. I just love the voice that Fandango speaks in, where he's just it's really like hoarse and kind of like a whisper, and it's just so stupid and funny. And they're like handing in their badges. They're like, I guess we don't need these anymore.
Or these, and they gotta take their pants off. Like,
He's trying to take his pants off.
He's like, I guess we gotta hand in our guns. They're like, your guns?
Like, whoa. Yeah, he's like, you guys got guns? And they both reach back for it mad quick, and he's like, slow down. And then,
pull out fucking
and they
water
just
guns.
pull out these 2 guns, and he's like, watch it, they're loaded. And they're just water guns. And then he says that they're gonna be in singles action tonight against each of the Usos. And they're like, oh, so we're back on the force, and they take their badge back and all of that.
Yeah.
And they head out ready for singles action.
Yep.
And so they get into singles action, and it's Breeze versus, I don't know if it was Jimmy or Jay. Jay. And this one was a quick one.
Fandango gets on the apron and just starts spraying him with the water gun.
Fandango starts spraying him with the water gun. And he's distracted. He gets rolled up. 1, 2, 3, right after, immediately after. Now they have Jimmy versus Fandango. And Breeze is on the outside with like an old lady's wig and handcuffs. And he's just kind of like taunting Jay outside the ring, and Jay starts chasing him already. They do like a full lap and a half around the ring, and then Breeze like kind of tries to slide into the ring, and both of the Usos kind of catch him from both sides, and then Jimmy gets rolled up.
Yep.
And that's over. So then the crowd is incredibly high. Like, maybe this sounds regular with us explaining it, but it was just so funny and chaotic. And the crowd was just super hot in this moment. And then they challenged them to a tag title match. And the Usos agree right then and there. An impromptu tag title match. The 2 singles matches were so quick that it was like, whatever. So, impromptu tag title match. It's approved by Shane in the back. The ref gets on the little headset with him. And we have ourselves a tag title match. And the crowd was so into it. Just hoping that Breezango could pull it off.
Right.
It was dope. It was maybe like 5 to 7 minutes type shit,
Yeah.
But a pretty dope match. Some close.
I love the finish
calls.
on that.
Yeah, talk about it.
Freaking.
I've been talking.
I think Breeze. No, was it Fandango? Who had? I know for sure Jimmy was up on the thing. He was the legal man in. And Jay went and tagged himself in, and then they suplexed Jimmy off the thing, but when they landed, Jay was on the other side and hit the Uso splash for the 1, 2, 3 pin, and I fucking loved it. It was dope.
And
they retained.
And it was dope. The crowd was so hot for it. And to me, it might have been one of the most hype the crowd was in the night.
Yeah.
And to me, this would have been the moment, and I spoke to you about this, for us to hear, "Oh, Toledo!
Yeah.
Don't you dare!" Like, it was this moment.
Yep.
That imagine.
Good thing you brought that up.
Yeah. The crowd wanted Breezango to win so bad. Because they're so fun, to just watch, and, the lovable loser that they are, but they're not going to actually beat the Usos. You need a good guy team that's going to be as entertaining, that will pose that threat. And after the letdown of, man, damn, Breezango was so close. After that letdown and the Usos are, standing all tough in the... Oh my God, if the New Day's music would have hit, the crowd would have went crazy. I talked about how hot that crowd was in that moment. The roof would have came off the fucking place if you would have heard, "Oh, Toledo," like,
now,
and it rhymes.
Looking back at it makes perfect sense. At the moment when you were saying that, I was like, it still made sense. But I was saying to myself, is Kofi Kingston able to come out? Are they able to actually be fixtures on SmackDown and also contribute in the way that they all really want to? And I said, I don't think so. I haven't been on the dirt sheets or any websites reading up, and I haven't heard anything about New Day, but who knows? But then on Instagram, I see WWE posts on Talking Smack the New Day that New Day was there.
Yeah.
So that would have been a great moment.
It was a waste to me.
I have to agree.
It was a waste.
Yeah.
You can't. That means they were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That means they were backstage.
Yep.
So I can't understand that one.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect way because look, Breezango is out of the title picture now. They've lost, they've lost their chance and the rematch. And why wait till next week to kick off the next feud? Just have New Day come out right now just to set that stage, and now we're anticipating it, I don't know. So that was the only thing that I really had an issue with in this segment. Otherwise, one of my favorite entire segments, the whole Fashion Files thing included, of the night.
Yep. Definitely.
Moving on after that, what did we have? Did we have... Oh, we had a... Moving on after that, we had a Nakamura style segment in the back.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. And,
it was a great segment. AJ
Styles
said,
mentioned,
we've known each other a long time. I can't lie. Our time in Japan, I learned a lot from you. But tonight, we got to work as a team, and I want you to know the better we work together, the better you understand that this is the house that AJ Styles built.
Yeah. He says, follow my lead, because this, we've done all this, and I've taken notes from you and stuff like that. But tonight, remember that this is SmackDown, the house that AJ Styles built. And what does Nakamura say?
He says,
don't
Money
butcher
in
it.
the Bank. Huh?
Don't butcher it.
He says, at Money in the Bank, I'm going to get that briefcase, I'm going to cash it in, and I'm going to turn your house into my playground.
Woo! It was he, and he said it well.
I forgot to also mention, he took out his mouthpiece.
Yeah, exactly, to say his mouth guard.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was an awesome little short backstage segment, and he just kind of walked off and laughed when he said it. Just that typical Nakamura swag.
Word.
And also, since we're talking about Styles and Nakamura, I forgot to mention that Styles had a funny line earlier in the night where he says to Corbin, because Corbin calls himself the Lone Wolf, he says, before you huff and you puff and you continue to blow.
Yeah.
And then kind of gets into everything else. But just saying that, I thought it was mad funny.
Yep.
So, overall, an entertaining night. We had the coronation, I believe, came next.
They went all out for Jinder. They had, his native people come out and dance and have, the bongos, and they were killing it. And,
it was dope.
The Singh brothers came out and, try to get some heat. And then Jinder comes out with the belt, and the crowd just started pouring in on him. And, hey, that's what they wanted. They want him to be a bad guy. They want the crowd to boo him. Jinder really didn't say much that he hasn't said already, at least.
Yeah. Spoke in his language.
He spoke in his language, which I love when he does that. And it's kind of, crazy that they consider him a bad guy because, besides he cheats, he weasels.
Besides cheat, yeah, no. See, focus on that though. This is my issue with it: is that the focus should be on just him cheating and being a bad guy. You don't need him to throw his culture in your face, and for us to take that that makes him a bad guy because it doesn't. That like you said, they went all out for him, and my only takeaway from that is, but for what reason? Did they have all those people come out for him as a way to get heat, or because they were trying to do it big for him? You know what I'm saying? And to me, they did it because they wanted him to get. They wanted us to see that and be like, oh, he's doing so much. But to me, that's kind of cool. That his he has his culture there, and they're doing dances and stuff like that, and representing their culture and shit like that. And to me, like, the fact that that's WWE's way of getting the crowd to start saying USA, like, shit like that is like, that's kind of like appreciate other culture. Like, that's dope. Like, they were dancing and they were doing. So I don't know. That's my take. The focus should be on that he's a cheater and that he needs numbers to win. Like, your rebuttal should never be USA, USA. Like, we don't want you because you're Indian.
It's kind of a dated thing. It's kind of a dated thing, but it's still good old wrestling. USA, rep your country, and my country's better. You guys are freaking.
I just, my issue is with everything going on in the world.
Yeah,
like I don't want to.
It's not a good
USA
message.
versus
it sucks
versus something. USA against shit.
Yeah,
I get WWE and I get its entertainment.
Especially, it is something to be celebrated. He's the first Indian champion
like, it's
ever.
Something to be.
He's the 50th cool. WWE World Champion.
See, that's awesome.
And it's kind of like a milestone. That means they went through 49 other guys before they found
an Indian to
the perfect Indian dude to represent
that they wanted to represent the belt. Yeah,
and I look forward to his reign. I hope. I don't know. I don't even know what to predict because, like you said, every time the belt changes hands, it's at the next pay-per-view. Maybe Randy gets it back. Who knows? But I guess enjoy it while it lasts. That's what this celebration was for. It was to have that moment. I love how he kind of embraced the hate anyway. He started standing on the announce tables.
Yeah.
He went in the crowd and stood up on one of those things. It was amazing. I loved it. And good for Jinder.
Yeah, exactly.
And I personally know
you can't hinder Jinder.
I saw a video where Randy Orton, I don't know if it was old or recent, but I don't know, but he was talking about, he was like, a guy like Jinder Mahal, I think that's a guy that has all the tools.
Yeah.
And he was like, they kind of dropped the ball with him with what they were doing with him, with the whole 3MB stuff. And I guess maybe it was around that time he had this interview. He was like, but I see a lot in him. I think he could be a main player in this industry if like the right people just get behind him.
Yeah. And another thing you mentioned to me, I believe, I don't know if it ever made it onto one of our episodes, but Jinder was the person who lost to Rollins in the NXT title, the first NXT title match, right?
I don't know.
I believe it was Jinder Mahal that Rollins is the first NXT champion ever.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal was who he beat.
Really? I don't even know. That wasn't me.
If that wasn't you?
Nope.
Maybe it was me. Maybe I knew that. I'll take credit. No, but so yeah, that's pretty dope of Orton to acknowledge that, and hopefully he does have a good reign. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this.
Yeah.
But that actually came before the whole tag team segment. But now we're ready for the main event. Thoughts on that?
Main event was popping. Like I said, Nakamura and AJ Styles together was fucking a beautiful moment. Yeah, great spots. What else can we expect except great wrestling?
Yeah,
I love how Kevin Owens had had Nakamura in the corner and tagged in Ziggler and said, "Come on, get him back for what he did yesterday."
Yeah, just talking so much.
Let's
shit.
Go. I just fucking love Kevin Owens.
I love Owens in tag team matches because he's always doing shit like that.
Yeah,
like talking shit to his opponents and to his partners, like trying to get them fired up type shit. And Owens is great when it comes to talking his shit in the ring.
Yeah.
But dope main event. Nakamura and Styles get the win. And Owens took it. Dude, looked like a
suplex.
Mean Kinshasa, too.
All I know is they've been wrestling their ass off, all of them, for the past 3 days.
Yeah, so shout out to them. SmackDown is in a good place right now, I feel like especially that mid-card, like, more so than even the main title. Like, not that the main title's not in a good place, but that mid-card is crazy.
And to think New Day's coming back.
And exactly. So that's the next New Day. Usos is the next thing. Or maybe Alpha is like, nah, New Day, it's us. You know what I'm saying? We've been waiting. You know what I mean? Who knows? And then you get that going. Who the fuck knows? But I feel like a lot of good shit is coming. Rusev is going to enter the picture. Breaking news. I have been harping on this for a while, and I just remembered that I was going to say to you in the night when all of the women, there was a segment where all of the women were in Shane's office, and I said, Money in the Bank ladder match in my mind, because I've been harping for a women's ladder match. I thought they were going to do it at Mania, and I said this would be the perfect time to have a women's ladder match, the first ever, right? It would be the first ever.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
And I've been harping on that. Breaking news, women's Money in the Bank ladder match is announced.
Really?
Yes, I read that right before we went on air.
So wait, for a briefcase?
For a briefcase, I'm guessing. Which to me, that was why I wasn't sure, because I was like, wouldn't they just do it for the number one contender? But I guess for the briefcase. So I don't know if Naomi's going to have an opponent, but I heard, or I read, that the participants are Becky, Charlotte, Tamina, Natty, Carmella, Lana.
Why would Lana be in there?
Returning.
I don't know if she's that good yet.
Yeah, me neither. And to debut in a ladder match is kind of crazy. But we'll see.
I'm Team Carmella.
But that means Naomi's not defending, which is kind of weird.
Natty, where's Natty?
In that match, it's Natty, Carmella, Tamina, Charlotte, Becky, Lana. Pretty much all of the women. So Naomi doesn't seem like she's going to be defending, which is why it was kind of weird, because it's like, wait, so they're fighting for the briefcase but not the number one contender? So I'm guessing they'll settle the number one contendership next week in a 5-way. It's a 5-way elimination match that was announced for next week. Yep. That'll settle the number one contender, and then see, that's why I'm confused. But whatever, Money in the Bank ladder.
Maybe someone's gonna get inserted in this situation besides Lana. Someone else.
You think someone gets the call?
Maybe. Who knows? I know that right now I did read that they were kind of
Lana's name though.
Settled with having even amount of women on each roster, like 6 and 6. You know. Who knows?
Is there anyone not being utilized? Ellsworth versus Naomi. But yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. But that's pretty much it with SmackDown and Backlash and Takeover. And are we gonna get into Raw?
Yeah, I'll give.
Do we have to just give a brief because we have been going for a while.
We all know the main thing going on with Monday Night Raw is the Fatal 5-Way match for Extreme Rules against to find out who's gonna go up against Brock Lesnar, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Bray Wyatt. Awesome fucking participants. Bray Wyatt kicked off Raw this week. Has some dope shit to say about how he is going to free the slaves of the beast because that's what they are, and he is their savior.
That's a hell of a line.
He said, "Not only will I take down the demon," he said, the architect, the Kingslayer, you know, and the one who calls this his yard. He said, "I'm gonna conquer the beast." And then Roman interrupted him. Roman just, I guess, was popping his shit that he wanted to. Roman kind of has a new attitude that he just wants to beat your ass now. He was like, "I'm gonna beat your ass." He was like, "I'm gonna beat your ass straight up."
That's what we've been hoping for a while, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, and I actually like it. I like it. And then Samoa Joe interrupted, came out, and kind of was like, "Band together, me and you, and let's beat this motherfucker up." So they started beating Roman up and beating him down. And then right when Bray was like going for the finish on Roman, Joe just comes from behind, snatches the submission on him, the Coquina clutch, and drops him down, is putting him out. And at that moment, Seth Rollins comes out. So Bray Wyatt was the one that was getting put out. Seth Rollins starts going at it with Joe. Roman ends up getting up while they're fighting and hitting Joe with a Superman punch. And then I guess at that moment, they both rolled out the ring. Rollins was hot, popping his shit. And Kurt Angle came out and set up a tag match. But then we get backstage and Roman is popping his shit to Rollins and saying, "I don't need your help. I told you that. You didn't need to come out and shit." And Rollins was like, "Man, I went out there for Joe, not to help you." Straight up.
That's it. That's it. For
That was the start of it. That was basically the main story going on. The main event was dope. In between the main event, we had some filler moments, of course, as usual, like I said on Instagram. But we also had Matt Hardy versus Sheamus, which I thought was the match of the night. That was my match of the night. Matt Hardy versus Sheamus. They went at it. The good old broken Matt Hardy was fighting his ass off with Sheamus. Sheamus was putting it to him. Sheamus hit him with some hard shots. But Matt Hardy pulled it out. Jeff Hardy helped him pull off the win. But all in all, Matt hit that twist of fate and got that 1-2-3. And it was a fucking awesome match. And then they got to pick the stipulation of their match at Extreme Rules. And Matt Hardy said that it's going to be a steel cage match. So I'm looking forward to that. The Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro in a steel cage match. That might steal the show.
That's fire.
At fucking Extreme Rules. Who knows? But Extreme Rules is turning out to be good because then we also have Alexa versus Bayley, which we touched on in our last episode that got messed up with the audio. And because I missed, not this week that just passed, but the prior week because I had some family things. So I didn't really get to see what happened with Alexa and Bayley. But
Alexa's been beating people up with kendo sticks. Yeah, what happened.
But this week, Alexa had a match with Mickey and kind of put her out pretty quick. Alexa looked real strong. It was a dope match. But at the end, Bayley came out.
The shot, wait, I got to mention before that, the shot she hit on Mickey before the DDT to finish her was vicious. That, it was like she just straight decked her.
She had a dope physical quick match and
clapped her.
Kind of dominated her. She dominated Mickey.
Yep.
And then Bayley came out and beat her up with the kendo stick.
Or no, she came out and she never ended up hitting her.
Oh, Alexa.
She picked it up and Alexa kind of
got away.
Put her hands up and then rolled out. Put her hands up don't do it and then rolled out.
Yeah. Well, she came out and tried to.
Alexa did hit Mickey with the kendo stick and that's what brought Bayley out.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it was
overall.
Dope.
That's pretty much it. I want to talk about the main event.
The main event was Rollins, like I said, and Roman versus Bray and Joe, which was an interesting kind of matchup. Joe and Bray were doing really fucking well. They were giving it to Rollins and Roman, and then all in all, Roman and Rollins ended up banging into each other. The chemistry was off, and Rollins went at Roman, and Joe and Bray capitalized off that.
Yep.
And they got the win. And then after that, Balor was watching from the back.
In the back with Angle.
And Kurt Angle was there. And Balor was like, next time you put them together, don't leave me out of the fun. And how can we forget, talking about Raw,
oh, yeah.
Balor earlier in the night had a moment with Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman put him over that he said he believed he would beat the other 4 competitors in the Fatal 5 match. And he'll be the one to take on the Beast. And Balor said, yeah, because I'm going to get back the title I never lost. I appreciate you coming out here, but I would love for the Beast to come out here more. Or, and kind of say this to me face to face,
Yeah.
And it was dope. And from there, the club kind of came out and interrupted, and then we got a one-on-one match with Carl Anderson, which I was not expecting. I was like, wait, the club's coming out. Wait, are they coming out to back up Carl?
It was too random.
I thought they were coming out to back up Finn Balor for some reason, and then it was like, oh, it's a one-on-one match, and I was like, why? Damn, they got to give us a reason to It was gonna be a really solid episode of Raw until they did that, because it don't make any sense. Because although the commentary was like, they got years of knowing each other and they're best friends, but when it comes to having to wrestle, they have no problem doing this basically.
Yeah, what's the point?
Trying to get the best of each
even
other.
Storyline there? Yeah,
But it is what it is. It was a really good match, man. Their chemistry is, of course, what.
And like I said to you, that's not a surprise, So.
And it's not a surprise because they're fucking best friends.
Just don't ruin what you could do with them in the future.
Yeah.
By just having them be together without any reason or cause. But like you said, Balor to close out, Balor and Angle were in the back, and Angle said that Balor would have a match next week.
Triple threat match with Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt, the guys who won.
Yep, and Reigns and Rollins will
go one-on-one. And he was like, because I put great matches. It's true. It's damn true. Like, as a GM, I'm giving us quality matches. And it's fucking true. It's damn fucking true.
There you go. But that's our week in wrestling, guys. And I know we didn't spend too much time on Raw because, I mean, we were coming off of Backlash.
Yeah.
So the focus was heavily on SmackDown this week. But next week is the last episode of Raw before Extreme Rules. So you already know the focus should be there for next week's episode. So we're going to get into that. We had to talk about TakeOver. That took up some time.
Yeah.
And let's mention, last thing I want to mention, NBA playoffs. You haven't heard from us in weeks, but the Warriors advanced to the Western Conference Finals against the Spurs, and the Cavs and Celtics both advanced. Celtics came out of a crazy 7-game series with the Wizards, which was a great series, probably the best series in the entire playoffs.
Talk about it.
To that point. And I don't have time.
Yeah.
And then we both chose Warriors Cavs, and I chose Warriors in 5 or 6, but that was before the Kawhi injury, and then we also chose Cavs in 6 before the Isaiah Thomas injury, and then we came up with this idea that the storyline would be that they both got to the finals undefeated. So we were just kind of
the Warriors did.
The Warriors
and the Cavs ended up losing game
and even 3. And even without Isaiah Thomas. It was Isaiah Thomas' first game out.
And Avery Bradley hit a final shot that got some lucky bounces. But all in all, it went down. It's the win that counts and matters.
Yep, but the Cavs did win tonight. It's 3-1. They're going back to Boston, but this series should be over. And the finals should be kicking off next week.
Yeah.
And since it'll probably kick off, how about this? Boom. That's why I'm glad we brought this up. How about this? We predict the finals right now. Warriors, come on, Warriors Cavs. We're not expecting Warriors Celtics.
Yep.
So Warriors Cavs.
What if this goes to Game 7?
It's not. So Warriors Cavs. Right now, you're on the spot.
I'm going Cavs because I don't know. I really like the way they've been playing. I love the way, everybody steps up and plays their role. And I feel they're the perfect matchup for the Warriors, who have a lot of people that are going to play their role. So it's all about going to be who's hot. And, I think the Cavs got it figured out, got it going. I don't know. I'm not going to say how many games. If I was just to pick.
I mean, to me, it's going to 7.
7 games, right?
The NBA is going to milk the shit out of this. This is going to 7. And I got the Warriors. I just think, I know that they are capable of losing to the Cavs. I think the Cavs are more mentally tough for whatever reason than they are. Something about LeBron is he's always just, I don't know.
Cavs is 7.
But with Durant now, they went to 7 last year, and that was playing a game without Draymond. You know what I mean? And that to a lot of people, that was the turning point when Draymond got suspended for a game. And that was the momentum turning point. And before the Cavs came back.
What are the bets on Little B throwing a Little B curse on anybody?
I can give 2 shits. So, so I'm gonna go Warriors in 7. And everybody, that's pretty much our show. Sorry for being gone, but we had a lot going on. It's been fun to talk. It's been a little bit. It's been fun to share some ideas and thoughts. We're back. Better than ever.
Yep, and it was great to kind of get my mind off things. Real life pressures and anxieties and emotions. To just put that all aside for a minute and just shoot the shit with you on how we feel about the things we love. And to the people out there that actually listen to us and give us the time, an hour of their time. Their precious time, whether you're going to school, you're working, you're at home playing video games, whatever you're doing when you listen to us, we appreciate you and we're grateful and thankful.
Absolutely.
So keep on rocking with us. the No Politics Podcast.
With that being said, show love to those around you. Make sure you use your voice. Make sure you're using your voice to encourage people and to spread love and positivity. And don't be afraid to use that voice. You got it for a reason. You have influence for a reason. Use it in a positive way. That's pretty much why we even doing this podcast. We want to, not only talk about our love for wrestling and sports and music, but to use our voice for positivity and to, bring a community together and just have fun with this. And on a musical note, since we didn't talk about anything, listen to Logic's album. That's It's called Everybody. I don't know if any of you listen to Logic, but that's a must listen. Give that some spin. Talks about a lot of social issues and just important things in the world, and reminds us about what actually matters, and that's to love each other. No matter what race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, religion, all of that. So had to mention.
Shout out Wale's song too, Smile.
For sure.
Because that's a beautiful song as well.
All about family and love and good people. Too. So have a great week, a great day, a great night whenever you're listening to this. As always, love and positivity from the No Politics Podcast at No Politics Podcast on Instagram, on SoundCloud. Check us out. Love, peace, all that.
Peace. It seems to me like Eric Rowan just came back. They put him in some high-profile matches. He kind of took the place Luke Harper had before he came back. Yep. And Eric Rowan might be getting a push here, so I think Eric Rowan gets the W.
Wow. You know what I really want, to be honest, from this? I want them to just be tag team partners.
Imagine they just have the match and they just hug. Instead of fighting.
That would be great. But I think they should just be tag team partners. I hope that's what comes out of this. Because the tag team division could use them. What? No, you don't remember it?
We've seen it a million times. They fight each other. They break up. They fight each other. They get back together as a tag team. I don't know why they keep having them
fight each other, to be honest. They should have just stayed a tag team.
They need to never get back together, at this point.
Why?
Because they did this shit a million times. They keep hitting reset on it.
Listen,
just let's go.
Let's
do this already.
Do you not remember that Usos versus...
I remember it. Everyone remembers it.
Bro, that was
Get
classic.
over it.
That was classic. No.
That was 3 years ago.
I'm not getting over it. That was classic.